All right, all right, all right. Are we here? Hello, my little beauties, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, today is a day that I've been looking forward to for a long, long time. Um, well, 8 days. uh, and today we get to do our first, the world's first ever Trongate MX tutorial. Hello to all of the folks from Twitch, by the way. Literally, I'd say, in fact, I'll show you this. You would not believe this unless I showed you this. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? If I take you over to GitHub here and we go to activity, um, pushed 2 minutes ago. Never in the history of web development has somebody built a library like this, send it up to GitHub, no demos, no nothing, and then immediately went on and did a tutorial. But that's what we're going to do, and you shall know that my name is the web developer extraordinaire. Quick wristwatch check before we start. It gives me a chance to settle in and let other people show up. But actually, before even that happens, a quick ahoy to the great Kyle, always positive. Babylon Data Vault, ahoy to you, my friend Stefan Hummel, the pillar of the community. Good to see you, Stefan. And the Dark Destroyer himself, Doranov, is here. Ahoy to you, Doranov. Thank you, thank you. And Martin Knights. How you doing, Martin? And where on earth have you been, you crazy rock and roller? Welcome, welcome. Oh, what a good day this is going to be. You ever get the feeling that everything's going to go perfect? Me too. So we'll have a quick obligatory wristwatch check. Today it's just a little Pagani design one, and it's very beautiful, and it's automatic. Who cares? Anyway, I like it. I hope you do too. Right, let me get going and let's do this tutorial. Okay. So I'm literally going to be doing things that I haven't even done before, but hopefully I'll get away with this. Right, okay, so let me open up the Trongate desktop app here. By the way, before we even do this, I should say we have added incredible new documentation to the Trongate website. This only went up yesterday. The documentation's kind of incomplete, but it's good, you know. May I draw your attention to this? We've got a full section on Trongate MX, and there's actually lots of features that I haven't yet even added to this documentation. But we do have this. It should get you up and running. Also, another really cool part of the documentation that I'm so proud of, there was a whole lot of us who worked on this. Obviously, I don't like naming people because you forget people. But Dom Sinclair, Doranov, Simon, Dan, the rest of the gang, and tons of others, they are, of course, our fabulous contributors. And Trongate is certainly not a one-man show. Let's have a look at all of these beautiful people here. And we are super grateful to all of them. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, let me show you something just again before we start that I'm really, really pleased with. If you ever want to look at how something works on Trongate, go down, look at the bottom left-hand side, go to this class reference or whatever, and click on, let's say, the model class. And let's say you wanted to know what resequence IDs does and how it works. Well, now you can just click here, you get a little pop-up, and it tells you everything about the thing. It gives you what's called a function header, which shows you the type of things it expects and returns, gives you a little description, parameters, few notes if you need to know them, and then it gives you examples. Every single part of the framework is now covered. Look at all of the examples. Everything, every helper, absolutely everything. It's all here. I've even added sections on the pre-installed modules. So for example, you can go to Trongate Security. What does this mean? And there you go. See, it's all up right now. And please do check it out if you have the time. All of this stuff's unfinished and it's garbage. But this down here is something that I'm really, really pleased with. Here's our different bits and pieces here. And look at all of this stuff. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't it absolutely beautiful? We are going to have the best documentation in all of PHP, maybe even in all of web development. How are you doing, Jerry? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, the excitement is quite overwhelming. So let's do this. And as always, let's do this in the name of rock and roll. I'm going to click on create new app. I'm using the Trongate desktop app. It's all open source. And just so you know, don't be too impressed. Don't be too impressed. This is just an Electron app. It's no big deal. It's a headless browser. No big deal. It's all open source. So I'm going to say Trongate, what's it called? Trongate MX tutorial. That's going to be the app name. And we'll hit submit. So I'm going to choose a location for the new app. And by the way, you're welcome to join in if you want, or you can just watch and maybe join in later on. But let me create a new app. It's downloading from GitHub, all of the configuration, setting up the database, and there we go. A brand new, fantastic application in full formation. All right. So just like I did last time, let me create a new module, and we'll call this, shall we do another task manager? Let's do it. Okay, a nice simple task manager. Well, what are we going? I can't even remember what this was. Whatever it was, I'll say yes. Oh, we're choosing an icon. That's what it is. All right, I'll have this one here. And now I'm going to choose some properties. So we'll make it as simple as you get. It's just going to be task title. And this is a live tutorial. Not only do I not have any docs or notes or anything, but I think there's one or two things here that I've probably literally never even done before. But there we are, a nice simple task manager. Now I think that's pretty cool, but this is all ordinary Trongate stuff, let's say. Now, shall we create a few records just to get started? Let's do this. So I'm just going to say 1 and 2 and 3. Here we go. All right. So we've added 3 records. We have a task manager, and thank you very much indeed. Let me now just open up the thing that was just created. I called it TMX tutorial, you'll remember. And here it is. So it's inside HT Docs. Here's our app. And you can see if you look closely that our tasks module is right here. Okay. So we already have a bunch of CRUD. Now, by the way, there's a really high probability that the code that you have is going to look different. I can tell you for a fact, we're going to be adding things like this. We might change the design a little bit. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's just an ordinary part of the game. What we're going to do is we're going to make a little space here, and we're going to do a little function, and we'll call this one demo. Okay. In fact, I'm going to echo okay, save it. And if we head to tasks / demo, there we go. You can see we've got a little okay message here. All right. Now I'm going to make a view file. I'll say data view file equals demo. And then I'm going to load up a template. For the purposes of this, I'll load up the public template. Hello, wee Google. And now I'm going to go into the views folder, and we'll make a little thing up here that says demo.php. And I'll just do an H1, and I'll say Trongate MX tutorial. And I'm laughing because this is ridiculous. I mean, it's just ridiculous to do something like this and immediately do a tutorial. Anyway, if it works, it counts. And if it doesn't, we'll just delete the thing and pretend this never happened. Anyway, I'm going to go, perhaps, where am I going to go actually? We'll start off quite easy here, right? Okay, so we'll start off with a paragraph and a little button. And the button is going to say click me. Pretty simple, right? So a little button, and look at all of the classes and stuff that we do not have to even write. That's the power of Trongate, and don't you forget it. So we're going to have that, right? And the idea is that we'll have a little div with an ID of result. Okay. Now our tasks are going to go here. In fact, I'm going to just write the word, I'm going to write the word loading with some dots, and I'm going to save, and I'm going to refresh. Okay, so we've got something like that. I can zoom you in a bit if that helps. There you go. Now, Trongate comes with a beautiful CSS framework by the name of Trongate CSS. And if I say class equals blink, immediately we have this fantastic little animation. By the way, if you want, you can also add in something like MT3. So that means margin top 3M actually. And of course you can say 2, 1, 0. That all comes with the framework. Now, you don't have to use Trongate CSS just to state the obvious. It's just something to help you get up and running quickly. So what we're going to build as our first thing is a little feature that's going to let us click that button there, and then it's going to fetch all of the tasks and populate this result div down here. And the way that we do that is we're going to, oh, first of all, I almost forgot. Let's go into templates, views, public. That's our template, right? Now, don't worry if your template looks different. Designs change. It's all part of the game. But the key thing is, before the closing body tag, I want you to do a little script. We're going to say source equals, and it's going to be base URL JS Trongate MX.js. And just so you know, Trongate MX is in the public folder, and there it is there. And isn't it fantasticola? We're up to about 1,300 lines so far, okay? But there it is, Trongate MX. Now, the reason why we add it before the closing body tag is because Trongate MX has to read all of the stuff going on upstairs here. If we added it here, it wouldn't know what we were talking about if we said get an element with an ID of blah, blah, blah. Yes, you can. I'm waiting for the character to say you can add defer or whatever. Yes, you can. You genius. You marvel of modern day science. But this is how I like to do it. Okay. So back over to the page, nothing much happening, but we have included a little bit of JavaScript. Now, what we're going to do then is we're going to say mx hyphen get, and I'm going to put in the URL for managing all of the tasks, all of this stuff here, okay? So I'm going to say base URL tasks / manage. All right. Now we're not quite done. I'm also going to say mx target. So this is where I want the stuff that I fetch to go, and the target is this result div. So I'm going to say that the target is hashtag result. The hashtag means it's an element ID, okay? So that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to just save. We'll go back here, and then I'm going to click this button, and hello Honolulu. Well, you can see there are 1 or 2 challenges, but there you go. So what did that do? Well, it fetched from the website all of that stuff from the website, and it chucked it inside this result div. Now, I have just realized something. Can we take this class of blink out here and pretend that we never had that? Okay, can I add a little span with a class of blink here and put the loading thing in here. That means just the loading thing's blinking. All right, there we go. That was today's deliberate mistake of the day. Now I'm going to click, and you can see that it has fetched the page, but a catastrophe has happened because it grabbed the entire page, which is a little bit of a downer. So we want to select just the table. We want to mx-select equals, and we're going to just say table. That's the query selector for the table. So let's save, refresh, and we're going to click again. Boom. And there is the table. How cool is that? Now I know what you're thinking. As good as this is, the table looks a bit rubbish. And I agree, it does look a little bit rubbish. So here's what we're going to do. Let's go into the manage file here that was generated for us. And do you see how that first row looks kind of horrible? You see that? Well, let me tell you something. In fact, let me show you something. We have a function that is now part of the Trongate framework. And it's in the engine folder. And it's called from Trongate MX. Okay. Now this function, which is as yet undocumented, but what it does is it lets us know if a request, an HTTP request, was made by Trongate MX or if it was just an ordinary request, okay? So if I say from TMX equals from Trongate MX, and then I'm going to var dump from TMX, I'm going to save, and I'm going to refresh. Do you see how it says false? That's because we arrived on this page, but it's a regular page load. If we had been, let's say, making a request from Trongate MX, that would have said true. So this returns true or false. It comes with the framework, okay? Now, I'm going to take this out of here. So we're all back to normal. And I'm going to go to this manage thing here. Now, I know that this is going to kind of mess the table up, but just for a minute, let me just chuck in with this table here. This, okay? You can take away the H2 tags if you want here. There we go. And I'm going to save, refresh, and I'm going to click. Do you see how it says Boolean of true right here? It knows that the request was from Trongate MX. Now, if I go to tasks manage, it says false. So that means that throughout the entire application, whether it be controllers, view files, anywhere else, you can call upon this anytime you like, and it will know if the request is from Trongate MX. Now that makes life very easy for us, and here's why. If we have a situation where this looks kind of nice, but this looks kind of rubbish, well, guess what? We can now let's get this figured out. It's probably this row here that's looking rubbish. So I'm going to just go in here and I'm going to say if, and then I'm going to say from Trongate MX is equivalent to false. So if that's the case, then, and only then, I'm going to do this little table row here. How do you like that? So if we save and refresh, click, look at the beautiful table. And yet if we go to the manage, it's absolutely fantasticola. I hope you do agree. Now, let's go a little bit further. Let's go to the button here. And you can see that we've got this button that we click it and it says view. Now that's nice, it works. But I think that I would like to make this a single page app just because we can. So again, I'm going to go into PHP here. I'm going to say, and again, it's just if from Trongate MX. Now, I know that syntax is a little bit weird, but we can indeed say if from Trongate MX is false, or you could say is not true, whatever makes you feel good. And if that's the case, I'm going to echo this here. Otherwise, I'm just going to echo TMX just for the moment. So if I refresh and do this, do we have a deliberate mistake of the day? Do we have a deliberate mistake of the day? We might have. Oh yeah, we forgot our closing PHP tag. All right. What on earth have I done? Oh, pardon me. It's all of the, hold on, I'm slightly lost. There we go. So you can see our table here. It's now given us TMX here. It knows it's from Trongate MX, okay? And if we go to the manage page, the manage still says view. So we can add all of this functionality in and we're not interfering with our existing stuff. But let's go a little step further. Let's go back to the demo thing here. And I'm feeling a little bit crazy. So let's just take this button out. So save, and the button has gone. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just have this stuff loading up without clicking a button? Well, you can. All you have to do is take the attribute that you've used here, like this, and chuck it directly in the result div, like that. So we're going to get this. Now, don't forget, we are still going to say MX select as table. And if we save and refresh, oh, one other thing. We have to trigger the thing. So to do that, there's a little thing, and I'm going to just go like this because I think it's easier to read. So I'm going to add another little attribute here called MX trigger. Now there's a whole bunch of MX trigger events. It's all in the documentation. Here they are. Where on earth is it? It's all here. Triggers. Oh gee, here we go. So there's a whole bunch of trigger events. It's all fully documented. But for this one, I'm just going to say load. So that means that as soon as the page loads, I want that div to fetch from that URL, and I want it to grab the table and all of that stuff. So if we head, where on earth am I? Back over here, refresh, and just look at that, and look at how fast it is as well, by the way. Boom! It's absolutely fantasticola. Now I'm going to just check, make sure my microphone's working. Is everybody okay? Well, look at that. We have a graph of my social life here. Oh well. Hello there, Jonas. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Anyway, at least I've got 9 likes. You know what I mean? At least I've got 9 likes. Anyway, so if anyone's still following along with this, you can see this is now loading immediately. How about if we do a little form here? Now, by the way, in Trongate, you can do things like echo form open and all of that stuff. It's a very cool thing to do. And I'm going to do another tutorial where I show you all of that stuff. It does work, by the way. However, for the purposes of simplicity, let's just stick with simple HTML. So we're going to do a little form. We don't need this action thing here. And we'll have a form label. And we'll just say task title. And underneath, we'll have an input with a name of task underscore title. I'll chuck in a little placeholder, enter task title here. And just because it's a tutorial, I'm going to say autocomplete is off. And then underneath this, I'll have a little button like this. I'm going to say type equals submit. Now that's actually quite important. And I'm going to say add task and save it. So if we refresh the page, we have a beautiful little form here. Again, notice I never had to add any CSS classes or anything like that. There's actually nothing to learn, you know. But if you want to be super fancy, you could say class is container hyphen XXS, extra small, and it tightens it up, as you can see. Kind of cool, right? Now, the reason why I added a submit button here is because I don't want this to behave like the last button. In fact, I want all of the MX magic to be attached not to the button, but I want it to be attached to the form itself. So on the form opening tag, I'm going to say MX post equals, I'm going to say base URL, tasks, and I'm just going to say / submit new task like this, okay? Now, we already have endpoints, by the way, for submitting new tasks and stuff, but I'm not going to use them today because I think it might put people into overwhelm. If there is a demand, I'll do another tutorial on Tuesday and I'll show you how to reuse all of that stuff, and you'll be really fast, you know. But for the moment, we're going to keep it simple. So we'll make a little endpoint here, and it's going to be called submit new task. Okay, so here we go, submit new task. And I'm going to just do a little thing here, style equals like this. I'm going to say color green, and I'll just say task was successfully added, something like that. Okay, so back over to the form here. When we submit this form, it's going to post the form data here, and I want a thing at the top of the page that says task was successfully added. I mean, that's how websites normally work, right? And you can have it anywhere, by the way, but I'll go maybe here. So I'm going to have a div with an ID of page upper. And when this stuff gets posted, I want the target, so that's MX target, to equal the element with an ID of page upper, something like that. So let me just save. We'll have a little click. And as you can see up here, it says the task was successfully added. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And of course, you could add a little class of text center if you want. You don't need to, but you could if you want, okay? So that's kind of nice. But of course, we haven't actually done anything. We haven't added a task. Now, folks, in a real situation, we would be calling upon Trongate's validation helper. And in fact, we would be doing automatic cross-site forgery request protection and all of that stuff. Believe it or not, it's all built into the framework. But again, I don't want to overwhelm people today. That's for another tutorial. So I'm going to make this really simple. I'm just going to say data task title is post task title. I know that that's ridiculous. Don't tell me, it's fine. I'm just trying to save us some time, okay? So that's going to give us the task title. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to load up the model and I'm going to insert this data. By the way, I could say tasks, but I don't really need to because that's going to be the first URL segment and the framework will figure that out anyway. So let me save, go back, and I'm going to just write 4. We've got 3 tasks, right? So I'm going to say add task. It says the task was added. And if we refresh the page, you can see it says 4. Let's add another. 5, add task. It says task was successfully added. And if we refresh the page, you can see we've got our next task here. Let's do task 6, just one more. Add task. And once again, we refresh the page and task 6 appears. Do you see the problem? Well, obviously, it's a bit of a downer that we have to keep on refreshing the page. So it turns out there is a fabulous way around this. And what we do is we say MX on success equals, and I do hope you can see that. I hope I'm not blocking it with my little video camera. You know what? I'll do it down here just in case I am. Sometimes I know that it looks a bit weird, but I find that this is actually a wee bit easier to look at, right? So I'm going to say on success, let's call upon result like this, okay? So now what's going to happen is when we add another task, we're going to get our little message up here, but this task table should refresh automatically. I'm going to say 7, add task, and how cool is that? 8, we're going to add task. Isn't it beautiful? Let's do 9. And why not even do 10? Whoop. Here we go. And just look at that. Now, by the way, there's another part of this that I'll show you. There's so much to this, and I won't have time to show you everything. But how about if we make a little spinner element? And just so you know, when you submit the form, this all gets disabled and all that. You don't have to worry about that stuff. But I'm going to do a little div with a class of spinner and save. I'm going to refresh. And as fast as that, we have a beautiful little spinner on the screen. This is the Trongate CSS library, by the way. It's a huge time saver. That's all you have to do, and you have a beautiful little loader. Now, I want this loader to be used to indicate when a task has been submitted. So I'm going to add on another class, and you can stack classes like this. This is perfectly legal, you know, as far as CSS goes. So I'm going to add a class of MX indicator and save. Now, when I refresh, you'll see that our little spinner disappears. So the library knows, aha, so this is going to be used for indicating that there's a request going on. Now let's head over to submit new task here. And just this once, right at the top, let's add in sleep, 2 seconds, and there we go. So that's going to give us a little delay, and then it's going to do its thing. We're simulating a sort of slow web server. All right. And what do? Well, we're going to add on another attribute. This one is going to be called MX indicator. And the indicator equals the thing that has a class of spinner. So dot spinner. Okay. So I'm going to say, I'm going to refresh. I think we're on task 11. I'm going to hit add task. There's the spinner. And there you go. Do you see I did a little typo there? We'll fix that in a minute. Let's do 12. There's our spinner. And then boom. And then it updates. How cool is that? So that's our MX spinner thing. Now, by the way, one of the things that I noticed, and some of you with an eagle eye may notice this, if I refresh the page, do you see how for the briefest of a second, it looks like maybe 5/100ths of a second, you can see the spinner there. That's obviously to do with the sequence that things are loading in. If that bothers you, just add in a little style, is display of none, and you will never see that spinner unless it's a legitimate load event like this. And you can refresh all day long. It's just beautiful. There you go. Pretty cool, right? Now at this point, I'm very tempted to segue off and show you out of band swaps and how to submit data via the header and how to submit Trongate tokens. Yes, we have token-based authorization. We've got so much stuff, but I don't want to get caught up in all of that. Let's just keep moving forward, and let's now focus on deleting these tasks. It's a one-page app, right? So we're going to go to this manage thing here. At the moment, it just says this. Now let me go out of PHP. I know it's a bit weird, but I really want to just stick to HTML today, right? Just simple HTML. So let's do a little button, and we're going to say delete and save. So if we go like that, there's our little delete thing. Looks kind of okay. We could add a class of empty0 if you want. Bring it up. In fact, if you really want, you could add in a little icon with FA, class of FA, and then FA trash. And now we've got a little trash can icon. Kind of cool, right? So how about if we make it so that when we click one of these, it's going to just immediately delete a task? I think that would be cool. So let's build an endpoint. Now, again, we do have all of the code generated and it's secure, but I don't want to use that. I want to make this so simple that it'll, blow your mind. So let's make a little method here, and I'll call it submit delete task. And what this is going to do is it's going to take a record ID from segment 3, and we can turn that record ID into an integer by saying comma int. Now, strictly speaking, we don't need to do that. The model class is very safe and you'll be fine. But I think that when you're collecting IDs from URLs, it's always a good practice to turn them into integers anyway. Doesn't do any harm. So that's why we're adding that. But this would have worked as well, just so you know, all right? But I'm adding comma int to turn it into an integer. We are responsible, okay? And I'm going to just say this model delete, and I'm going to pass in the record ID. Now again, you can add in that if you want, add in the table. You don't actually need to, but I'm just going to do that. That's all I'm going to do, okay? I'm not even going to echo well done or anything. That's your whack. Now, back over to the manage table here. We're going to say MX, I'll do a GET request this time again, and I'm going to say base URL, tasks, submit, delete, task, and then I want the ID to be part of the URL. So I'm going to break into PHP. I'm going to say row ID. Okay, so it looks like there's a whole lot going on, but all it's going to do is when we click the button, it's going to send a request to submit delete task, and everything will be fine. However, let's also add in, and I'll do this on the next line for clarity. Let's also add in MX. Now, what did we call it? Do you remember what we called it? We used it before. It's MX on success. That's right. So we're going to say MX on success equals result. So that means that when we get an HTTP response in the 2 to up to 299 range, which all happens automatically, by the way, then it's going to point at the result div. Do you remember this thing? And it's going to say, hey, do your stuff. So that's what that is. Now, do not blink because this is going to be fast. Check. Are we working? Well, maybe it's not going to be fast. MX on success, delete task. Okay. All right. Well, I did okay. Let me think here. What am I doing wrong? MX get that. It's a button. It's on success. Could it be? Right, give me just a little minute. MX target, I'll say page upper. Okay. Ah, there we go. So there we go. Okay, so it's making the target the page upper. Now, by the way, we did not do a delete message here, so it's emptying the page upper. If I delete a bunch of tasks here, like this, the idea is that you can add a task, new task, add it, and there we go. I'm going to get rid of that delay if that's okay. I think I've made the point with that. So let's get rid of the delay. So if I add a new task, there it is. So task was added, but if we click this, boom, and we can do that, and just look at how quick this is. Isn't that awesome? Now, do you remember a minute ago I was showing you the resequence IDs thing? This has got nothing to do with Trongate MX, by the way. But in the model class, there is a thing called resequence IDs, and I wanted to show you this because it's a really cool little thing. So let's head over to our manage file here, and we're going to change this call span to 3, and we're going to have a TH, so table heading cell of ID, and in here we'll have a TD of row ID. So if I refresh, you can see that we've now got an ID column here. And of course, if you want, you can say class is text center. You don't need to, but there's our record IDs. Now, when you're doing tutorials and stuff, as I said in my last video, this type of thing can be kind of irritating, especially, you know, when you add a task and then it says record 500 or something. It can indeed be an irritation. So let me show you the resequence IDs method working, because I think you're going to like it. At the bottom of demo here, below this result div, I'm going to just have a paragraph. I'll bring this up so we're not looking at the floor. And in the paragraph, I'm just going to echo anchor. Let's go to tasks, resequence, like that. And I'm going to just type in resequence tasks table, like that. So that's going to give us just a simple link. It has nothing to do with Trongate MX, but I think it's a cool feature. And what we'll do is we'll make a little endpoint here, and we'll chuck it down here. So I'm going to just say resequence, and all it's going to do is say this model resequence IDs, and then we put in the name of the table, tasks. And then I'm going to redirect to tasks /demo, and there you go. So what that's going to do, and I do not recommend using it in production, it's just for presentations and tutorials. But if we click resequence tasks table, look at that. All of the IDs have now been sorted out. And okay, I've messed them up again, but if we resequence, and I'm going to add task 5, and look at that, it continues from 5. It's just a beautiful little feature. I've wanted it for ages, because whenever I do a tutorial, I mess up the IDs and it takes me a few minutes to get back on track. So I hope you like that little feature. Just wanted to show it off. And now I'm going to move on to the really, really cool stuff. Congratulations if you're still with me. Let's have an edit button. So with this one, I've just copied and pasted what we have, by the way, but we'll change the icon to a pencil, like that. And for the URL, instead of submit delete tasks, I'm just going to say edit task. like that, okay? And let's now, let's not have an MX on result. Let's not have that. So we're going to make a little endpoint for editing a task. I'll put it right here. Whoops. All right. So edit task. Now I'm going to say data, view file is edit task. And then I'm going to say this template. Let's load up the public template and we'll pass in the data. And how about if we make a little view file here called edit task.php. All right. Now, if I go to tasks/edit task, you'll see that we have a full page here. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll make a little div up and I'll call this one, how about anything you want, actually. I'll just go with container. I think I can do that. And I'll just say edit task. Ahoy! There we go. Something like that, okay? Now, let's go back over to this manage thing. When we click the edit button, what's it going to do? It's going to head to edit task. It's going to populate page upper. Let's just save. Now we'll go back over here. I'm going to click edit. And you can see we've got this little challenge that we had before. I can also see, by the way, that we could perhaps do with a little top margin. So I added MT1 here. But when we click edit, it's shown as that page. There's not really any surprises here. Now, if I want just the container, I'll say mx select equals dot container. I'm going to save and I'm going to click. I think we've got a couple of containers. Let me say edit hyphen container. Let's make up a custom sort of class here. All right. So there we go. Edit hyphen container. So save, we're going to click. And there it is. It says edit task Ahoy. Now, that's nice. But wouldn't it be cool if we could have a little pop-up window thing and have that appearing inside that? Surely not. Surely that's not possible. Well, it is. And here's how we do that. What is it called? What's the name of it? Oh yeah, I remember. We go back to the manage thing here. And I'm going to say mx hyphen build modal equals edit task modal. There we go. And I'm going to refresh, have a little click. And won't you believe it, it made a modal. Now you can search the source code, by the way. There is no modal. I mean, if I look at you can look at this all day long. There's not any modal on this page. When you click that button, when you add that attribute on MX build modal, the JavaScript is literally building a modal on the fly, putting it together. Then it's invoking a function called open modal and going, and it's just beautiful. I love it. I love it. So that's what happened. But you know, we can go even further. For example, you can even chuck JSON in here. Now I know that this is kind of weird syntax, but I'm going to switch to single quotes and then I'm going to do a little JSON object here, okay? So, you know, something like that, right? Curly brackets, that's what we're talking about. And I'm going to just say ID, I'll use double quotes, so it's going to be called edit task. Now you can call it anything you want, by the way. You don't need to call it that, okay? We'll call it edit task modal. Now that should still work, just to let you know. It should still work. There you go. But we can add other stuff. So I'm going to do a little comma, and I'm going to say modal heading, and I'm going to say edit your task. Save. I'm going to refresh. I'm going to click, and hello Honolulu. We have a beautiful modal header. Now you can go as fancy as you like. How about a little icon? Would you like one of those? Let's have another one of those FA things. I'll go with FA pencil, a little bit of that. I'm going to save, click, and well, that was today's deliberate mistake of the day. Of course, we need backslashes here, but check it out. And how do you like me now? Now there's more attributes that we can add, even more. And you can customize this in pretty much any way that you like. So for example, we can add in, what's it called? Show, how about show close button? I think that's what it's called. I'm going to say true. If this works, I'll be very pleased with myself. Oh, there you go. So now it's giving me a little close button, and I can click that and it just works. How beautiful is that? Isn't that fantastic? Now, a couple more things I want to show you. I'm not going to go through a form and all that because this has gone on long enough. So let me just wrap up with a couple of features that I think are really, really special. And I'm smiling because I've been really looking forward to showing you these features here. I'm going to have a paragraph with a button, and I'm going to have the button says success. Then I'm going to have another button underneath it, and this button is going to say error. So when we do this, we've got success, we've got error. Now let me quickly make a couple of endpoints here. Very quickly, I'm going to have one called success ahoy. And this one is just going to have a little paragraph, maybe style, color green, anything you want. And I'm just going to say, well done. All is great in the world. Okay, no big deal. Let's make another little endpoint. We'll call this error ahoy. And well, for the error, I'm just going to do HTTP response code 400. That's all you're going to get there, okay? This, by the way, will send out a 200 response code automatically. It means everything's okay. If you want to be a proper developer, you can leave this in. If you want to be a crazy rock and roller, you can take it out. But I'll leave it in just for the purposes of this tutorial, okay? So, what we're going to do now is we're going to have this button here doing a request to the success endpoint. So let me just do this, and hopefully by now you've got the hang of this. We're going to say mx get base URL tasks. Now what was the name of the endpoint? It was success ahoy. That's right, success ahoy. So we're going to just say success ahoy, and there you go. Now, just like last time, I'll go on a new line here. And just like last time, I'm going to say MX target is page upper, like that. And I think that'll probably do us. So I'm going to save and refresh. I'm going to click this, and I'm going to click success. Now, if you look closely, you can see in the background here, in fact, even if I close this, it says, well done, all is great in the world, right? So imagine we've got a form, and we submitted the form, and we go like that, we submit, and it says, well done, all is great in the world. Well, how about if we had it so that the modal automatically closed, just disappeared when we had the success thing happen? Wouldn't that be kind of cool? Yes, it would. And the reason why I paused is because this is so new that I have to look it up. So chat amongst yourself for 2 seconds. Here we go, here we go. It's MX on success equals true. That's the one. That's the one. So MX, pardon me, MX close on success equals true. All right. So we're going to save. We're going to refresh. Now check this and look at my face as I'm doing this. I'm so happy. I love this stuff. I'm going to click success. You miserable swine. Oh, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? I think I know what it is. I know what it is. And I think you're going to like it. The reason why that happened is because I've built an animation feature as well. That's right. So let me just chuck in MX animate success equals true. Right, okay, here we go. And look at that. Boom! How you like me now? Okay, now this was literally finished 2 minutes before I came on, but the animation is going to be optional, okay? So just pretend that the close thing worked on its own, would you? Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. So check it out. We do that. Again, imagine you're submitting a form. Boom. Beautiful little animation and disappears. The animation is optional. Don't forget, you'll be able to control the width and everything. You are in control. And as a matter of fact, you're even going to be able to add your own custom animations. You can have 1,000 different animations for different events and it all works, or at least it will, within the next 24 hours. Isn't that a beautiful feature? And of course, what do you think you say for the error one? What do you reckon? Well, let's do the error button and I'll just go like this. So we'll just copy paste here for clarity, right? So let's do that. And of course, this is our error button. It's going to go to error Ahoy. Now remember, that's going to simulate an error. And we're going to say this time animate error is true and close on error is true. Again, all optional stuff here. But if we do that and there is an error, we get that. And as you can see, it closed. And just to let you know, you can in fact, I'm surprised I never showed you that, but if I go to the success one, let me bring this back. I'm going to take out close on success and I'm going to make the target the modal body. And there you go. Well done. All is great in the world. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that absolutely beautiful? And of course, it would be child's play to go in and do a little paragraph, have a little button here. I don't even need HTMX for this. It's so easy. All you have to do is just, I'll just say close and put in a class of alt. And I'm going to say on click is close modal. And as easy as that, success, then it does that, and then we can close. With Trongate MX, you are in control. I think that's all I'm going to give you because I've been going for an hour and I have only just finished the thing. But you must admit, that was a pretty cool demo. And if you want, I can come back maybe on Tuesday and I can show you some of the really advanced stuff where you can add your own animations and control the width of the modals and all of that stuff. The Trongate framework is no longer just the fastest PHP framework. It's no longer the only leading PHP framework that prioritizes stability. But I believe that the Trongate framework now comes with the coolest bunch of JavaScript that you'll ever find anywhere. And it's all our code. There is no third party. The only third party code that you saw today was the font awesome icons. Apart from that, it's all our code. I have to give a shout out to HTMX. The whole thing was inspired by HTMX. I give them all the credit. God bless HTMX. And if they ever decided to make that syntax part of the HTML specification, I wouldn't object. But of course, Trongate is a stability first framework. That's why we had to take the time. It took about 8 days to build this for ourselves. Remember, folks, it's V1 forever. And just to state the obvious, for anyone who thinks V1 forever means it doesn't improve, like, don't embarrass yourself. Do not embarrass yourself, because this framework is being improved constantly. Just look at all of the activity with this framework here. Just have a look. 1 hour ago, 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, 3 days, 6 days, 12 days, 15, 15, 15, 20. Is there any framework that gets updated as much as Trongate? And so finally, the misconceptions are starting to crumble. The hot air, that framework's insecure. That guy's a nutter. Oh, they're doing it all wrong. All hot air. And the hot air is running out. The web development revolution has started. And if you would like to be a part of this revolution, all you have to do, my friends, all you have to do is head on to GitHub and give this a star. If you do not give this a star and you've watched this far, I hope, well, I don't hope anything bad happens to you, but I would be really grateful. It's all we're asking, you know, and for whatever reason, that's the metric that counts. Every time somebody gives this framework a star, it tells them that we disagree. We disagree with their insane rewrite culture. We disagree with their bloated over-engineering. We disagree with their paid certification and their self-appointed code police. That's what happens when you give this framework a star. Thank you for watching. End of tutorial. All right. So, end of tutorial. How did I do, folks? Did I do okay? It was a live one. And can you believe it? We are making a living today. The Dark Destroyer Doronov. Doronov, you gave me a big pile of cash in the last stream. Holy moly. I'm going to have to do something. And look at this. We have Certi from the watch community. Good to see you. Listen, folks, for anyone following the tutorial, I'm done with the tutorial. I'm just going to chat if that's okay. I'd like to chat and catch up with my homies. Did you like the tutorial? If I can figure out how to trim these videos, I'll trim this bit off. But in the meantime, how on earth are you folks doing? Let's see who's here, shall we? Let's see who is here. Well, things are looking up. 15 viewers. For me, that's good. So we've got Kyle, Babylon, Stefan, the great Doronov. Thank you once again, Doronov. God bless you, my friend. We have Jerry in here. Doronov again. I'll keep on saying it. Makes me feel popular. The godfather of speed coding himself. The great Dafa in full formation. Jonas. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Certi. He's trademarked. And Doronov, thank you so much. And Babylon Data Vault, that was awesome. Thank you. You're awesome. You're awesome. That's right. You're awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Certi from the watch community. What on earth? Can I talk about watches for a minute? We'll talk about coding in a minute. What on earth is going on with the watch community? I follow some channels. I don't participate. I I'm just in the shadows watching. But it seems to me like a whole load of crazy stuff has gone on. Within the last 7 days, Paul Thorpe appears to have started deleting videos, and I understand he put a letter out to that effect. O'Sheen appears to have deleted pretty much all of his live videos. I only saw one there. And as for the Archieverse, it appears to have exploded. I saw somebody left a tweet the other day saying such and such is left, such and such is left. And I'm not, forgive me, I'm not smiling. I mean, it's, what on earth has gone on? I have no idea of the backstory. I don't know who's arguing with who or anything. I really don't know about any of the soap operas, but as a viewer who has no clue what's going on, I find myself looking at that and feeling, I don't know, it's kind of strange, It's it's very weird. Like a whole genre. Imagine if that happened in web development, where all of the top web development channels just vanished or something. It's very, very strange. I wonder what happened. Maybe I'll never know. But Doranov, thank you so much again. I really, really appreciate that, So that's pretty much the tutorial. That's it. It's uploaded. We have a little bit of documentation. I have a whole bunch more features. I'm just thinking. I actually think I've got a question for you folks in the room. And I'll keep an eye on the room as I ask this. I was going to come back and do a full CRUD example, maybe on Tuesday. And the idea is that you can generate a module, and then instead of rewriting forms and stuff, we can overwrite, pardon me, override is the right word, it's the wrong sentence. So suppose you've got a form that's a create form that was generated by Trongate, right? And suppose it's got action equals and an address and method equals post. And let's imagine you've got that on a page. Do you know you can add on those MX attributes? And if the page has got Trongate MX, the JavaScript file, the Trongate MX stuff will override the form. But if the page does not have that stuff, the form will just behave normally. This is remarkable. And the reason why it's remarkable is because it means that if I really wanted to, everything that I've just demonstrated there, I could probably have done in 5 minutes by just regurgitating all of the forms and all of the stuff that we've already got, even the validation errors. So for example, Trongate has got, and perhaps I can demonstrate this. Can you hear my excitement? I don't get this every day. I feel quite good about this stuff, This has been, it's not often I get excited about stuff in web development, but I'm quite excited about this. So here we are with a simple form. It was made with the code generator. The design's certainly not going to win any awards, I get that, but it's just a starter template. Now, if I submit, we get these validation errors here, okay? Fine. I hope you like the validation errors. But did you know that we can take these validation errors out of here and we can add on a class of, now what on earth is it called again? Does anybody remember the name of the class? Ah, here it is. It's highlight errors. That's the class. And by just doing that, suddenly we get this beautiful inline validation. And in fact, do you remember we had a thing called validation errors? We can say validation errors, but this time I'm going to put in task title. So I'm reusing this, but I'm passing in this task title. And what does it do? A beautiful little inline validation message. So this is just one example of one of the things that we've got with Trongate, and it's like this much code, you know? So we can take all of this stuff and combine it with Trongate MX, and perhaps I'll do it on Tuesday. If anybody wants to see this tutorial, just ask me, because we can absolutely dazzle people with the amount of stuff that we can do now just out of the box. Oh, you like a single page app? It's going to be beautiful, you know? And the funny thing is, again, let's give all credit to HTMX. You look at the thing, I mean, they've got tons and tons and tons of features that we'll never have. I have no intention of competing with HTMX. I'm not getting involved in the JavaScript ring. God bless them all. I don't want involved. And there's tons of stuff HTMX does that Trongate MX does not do. However, you know, there's lots of stuff that we don't need to do. So for example, we don't need an HX inline errors or anything. I don't need to do a tutorial on how to do validation errors. I can just build it all in, you know? And so that is something to be excited about. I have done tutorials here for a long, long time. I think this is the most excited I've been about something for about 4 years. And to remind you what's happening, by the way, just to remind you, I don't really care about task managers, you know. I don't really even care about this. I mean, it's great, you know, don't get me wrong. It's nice. But the real mission is actually this. This right here. This is the thing. And it needs a bit of work, that's for sure. But this here, now all of this at the moment is just using ordinary JavaScript, you know, ordinary JavaScript. You get the idea. But I can rebuild this and rebuild it in such a way that it's using Trongate MX. It will take me 1 month to build it. It's 1 month full time, unfortunately, and that's a struggle. But I'm going to do it. And when that goes out, we will have the greatest content management system in all of PHP. And like I said in the last video, Trongate MX is nice, but I'm not planning on releasing it on its own or anything. It's just a tiny part of the Trongate ecosystem, tiny part of the Trongate framework, actually. I mean, it literally is about 1% of our code, but it's a really important part. It's the power coupling, the flux capacitor, if you will. And so the end goal is not, hey, single page app, yay. No, 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 no. We are going after Wix. We are going after Squarespace. We're going after Shopify. They stole a client of mine. IT discounts. I got them to number 1 or 2 for the phrase discount laptops a long time ago. And I thought I did a good job. But they switched to Shopify. So you know what? Revenge time. We are going after all of those platforms. And quite frankly, none of the other PHP frameworks have the balls nor the skills to do what we are doing. I mean, do you see anyone from Code Igniter land talking and saying, hey, let's go after Wix and all of that? No. You name your framework. You know, God bless them all. But I don't see anyone else speaking in these terms. Instead, what they'll do is they'll just release another version. Somebody says to me, but they're tiny little changes. You know, they're not really breaking changes. They're not really rewriting. It's just tiny little changes. And I thought about that. And I thought, If that's true, if the framework makers, I'm not pointing any particular finger at any particular person, but if the framework makers are really just reversioning because, schedule brings in the clicks and all of that, if that's true, then what a pitiful lot they are. They must be completely out of ideas. What a intellectually bankrupt crock to use semantic versioning, a ubiquitous versioning system of the software industry that has been around for decades, and to suddenly use that as a marketing tool. I think we should all collectively laugh at them right now. So please join me in this highly intellectual moment. Even the watch people, join me by typing in LOL. Let's all collectively laugh at them. Come on, I don't care how many people's in the room. Let's laugh at them because they've been caught out using the versioning system to market because they're out of ideas. It's the only way that they can get clicks. It's the only way that they can get clicks. They're using the versioning system. Ahoy to Patel Philippe. Ahoy to you, my friend. Nice to see you. God bless you, Patel. God bless you, my friend. And I apologize for accidentally banning me. Join me in a moment. Won't you join me of laughing at the other framework makers? Let's laugh at them collectively because they've been sussed out. They've been using the versioning system just for marketing because they're all out of ideas. Come on, who's going to be the first? Yes, there it is. Let's get it on the screen. Thank you. Yes, we're all laughing. Come on, it'll do you good. Get into it. Come on. Get into it. Come on. Yeah. That's what they're doing. That's the game. And the game has now been officially called out. You are at the home of the web development revolution, the home of the web development revolution. And as normal, we can see that the YouTube servers must be surely in overload here because yet again they've had to remove all of these zeros from the view figures, but that's okay. 15 million viewers will do me any day of the week. Thank you very much. God bless you. Bless you, Doronov. Bless you, Doronov. Bless you, Stefan. And Dafa, the godfather of speed coding, and Babylon Data Vault. Laugh at them and laugh loud because they've got nothing. And I'll tell you who has something. Me! Can you believe it? With an incredible 20, ding, 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 with an incredible 20 Australian dollars, the man himself, the great Dafa, the godfather of speed coding. He is actually, to tell you the truth, he has another nickname. And his other nickname is the Steve Wozniak of Trongate. Because the truth is, Dafa there has been there since day one. So many times he has bailed us out. He hangs about that help bar, helping people, and he does so without anything, nothing, you know. And he has bailed us out so many times. Can you do me a favor? If you did not have a collective LOL, can you at least type in a D for Dafa? Let him know that we appreciate him. In fact, let's have another D for Doronov as well. Thank you. And the great Stefan Hummel is here as well in full formation. He has also been here since day one. He is like a rock. And if he leaves, I'm leaving. I'm so glad that you're here, Stefan, with an incredible 10 euro. They tell me that the euro's on the up. What do you think, folks? Thank you so much. We're going to have to make, let's have a look here. I think we're going to have to make Simon a producer of today's show. Doronov with his incredible €50. Doronov, I hope you have something to eat, my friend. I'm getting worried about you. The great Doronov, and I'm so glad that he joined the Vortex because he was here for a long time and we never heard from him. You're going to be hearing a lot from Doronov soon. Same with the others. We're going to have to make Doronov an executive producer. Congratulations. And I think it's safe to say that Stefan has finally earned the title director. Stefan, you are officially a director of today's show. Thank you. Thank you, Stefan Hummel. I love that name. You just know it's somebody that you can trust, you know? Anyway, thank you so much. I think that was about it, actually. To the watch people, oh, just noticed another name. I apologize if I missed any of you folks. It's Moho Scripting. New name. Ding, 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 ding. Welcome to the revolution, Moho Scripting. Bless you, bless you. Very good to have you here. Have I given everybody a I hope I haven't missed anyone out. To my incredible donors, Stefan Hummel, Dafa and Doronov. I have to give mention to my friend David as well from England. He keeps a low profile, but if it were not for him, I would... It would be worse than homeless. I'd probably have to get a job, you know. David is an incredibly successful software developer, and I can tell you he has really, really kept me afloat, you know. And I hope that I can bring him on the live stream sometime and maybe we can talk to him. I don't know if he's a little bit shy, but if you're out there, David, thank you. And please come up to sunny Scotland again soon. Maybe we'll drag him on. All right, my lights are starting to go on. I'm looking as rough as can be. I was fleeing another framework transitioning between major versions and fell here by accident. Never looked back since. Thank you very much. What a great comment. What a great comment from Babylon Data Vault. Folks, it's been a pleasure and a privilege. I would love to chat to some of the watch people about what happened. I'm not a gossip merchant. I saw what happened about Archie. I actually only found out this morning, believe it or not. I was looking on the videos and I saw, you know, about a month ago, ghastly. But with or without that, I'm just looking and going, what on earth is going on? I'm just a fan, but maybe you can enlighten me because the drama is dramatic. Needless to say, I don't really know Archie Luxury. We spoke briefly, incredibly briefly, a little bit too briefly, but I don't really know him and he doesn't know me, but I certainly send him good energy, and I just did it. And all his family as well. So anyway, thank you so much for passing by. I'm going to have to go. I could stay here all night. It's an exciting time, isn't it? Well, stay cool, and I'll see you soon. Cheers! By the way, there's people who do these podcasts, and they say bye, and it just cuts. I don't know how they do it. Every time I hit stop stream, look, can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? Whenever I hit stop streaming, it stops the stream about half a minute earlier. So I have to say bye, then I have to hang about in silence for about half a minute, like that. Kind of like a, you know, like some kind of a weirdo. And then after about half a minute, I have to hit stop. How do they do it? How do they do it? So they go bye and it just cuts. I haven't figured it out. Anyway, This will be my awkward half a minute or so after this. I'll just hang about and hopefully I won't mess it up. So thank you once again, folks. Bless you all to the highest, and I'll see you soon. Oh, by the way, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. London time. 7 p.m. London time. All right. Thank you very much. Goodbye.